Raghav, also known as Rags by his first love, Kiran, was the only child to his parents, the most pampered and tender brought up in his home. So the mentality of such child would be straightforward, caring, stubborn, and sensitive, of course. He met his first love, fortunately for him, unfortunately for her, at the age of 16 during his intern. She was also similar in qualities as of his initially, but how her qualities changed over time, which has affected Raghev's life, is the rest. Raghav met Kurane for the first time in the early hours on a day when her bike got repaired, and he has given lift to her. They had mathematics tuition class at the same place. The age was highly prone to dreams and immature happiness. Don't know what was the feeling exactly, but he enjoyed the ride very much. They both introduced themselves after that and sat in the class solving a maths problem. They arrived at the answer at the same time and felt good about themselves. Well, Raghav didn't know then that his life was not that easy as that maths problem. Granier went easygoing, an extrovert in nature. She mingled with her friends comfortably, which Raghav liked very much. He enjoyed every word from her mouth and felt like he should be with her most of the time. Maybe we call this as infatuation at that age. But no love can start without that. On the other hand, Kiran was interested in another guy who was not in line with qualities of her, but we know can be predicted and analyzed at that age. She was sensitive at heart and was serious in his matter. Unfortunately, that guy was also known Raghav earlier and a good friend of his, so the so-called triangle love story started. Raghav knew that he was late in the race by then, so kept admiring her and didn't speak anything about his feelings to her. He of course tried his best to catch her attention through this attire and attitude, but it didn't have much impact. He just behaved in a friendly manner with both of them and was indirectly like a bridge between them. As both of them have different mindsets, they were against each other in most of the matters and used to have arguments. When he shared the same with Rags, he used to feel for her and tried his best to settle the disputes between them. On the other hand, they moved close with each other and had many good times too. Raghav was very impressed by Kiran's attention and caring for the other guy, and always felt that his first love was the best ever happened to him. Her mother was also very sensitive in her matters, so even she was good with their relation, and the guy made most of it. Raghav had the first combined study with Karen at her home on the terrace for the AIEEE entrance exam for 2-3 hours, and he was in cloud 9. The climate was so romantic, with moon in the sky and in front of him too. How can one concentrate on the books, yeah? So as a result, the exam was a big flop to both of them, but he was least bothered about that. Raghav's birthday, and he had his gift in the night when he got a lucky chance to go to OKK ADU movie with her and her bro. which was the first movie watched for him with a girl alone, and that too his first love. Wow! What else can you give to such cute and immature heart? She has given him the compliment that he looked very good in the light lemon yellow shirt and black jeans, and he couldn't expect anything than that. He was just carried away in the world with only her. Days just passed by for Raghav, and he dropped a year after his intern for long-term coaching for IIT exam, and that was the turning point period in his life. The period where he actually had some wonderful moments with her to cherish for his whole life. His family had gone to a Shirdi trip, and his mind was entirely in Bazaj with her. She is a great devotee of Baba. So he has brought a ring for her with Baba's photo print on that. She was so happy with that. And she had that ring for almost 3-4 years. He had joined in Sir Chaitanya College, and almost every day after class he used to visit her house for her darshan. A day would be complete for him by seeing and talking to her, and she used to enjoy his company too. If it was a Sunday, then it is a boon to him. He used to aim writing the weekend exam well, so that he could spend very good amount of time with her after that. Indirectly, she started being his inspiration. He always cherished the day when she first visited his home at 9:30 p.m. on a day for having combined study with him in mathematics. His parents were shocked to see a girl in night dressing visiting their home casually and moving along with their son. His dad was on his way to night shift and called back home to inquire by asking in a soft and curious tone, "Did the girl left by chance or still there studying?" Which Raghav and Kiran recollected many times and laughed. Golden memories. She used to visit his house almost every 2 weeks, at least on Sundays. Raghav used to prepare the house before she arrives and was very eager to see her. His mom used to wonder and cherish his attentiveness. He used to sit in his balcony and look at his apartment cellar, where suddenly a lady on the street bike used to arrive in the picture, and she is his dream girl. Hooray! Time passed by like above, and Raghav knew that he was madly interested in her, but didn't have the dare to propose her, since she was already interested in another guy. Just 2 days prior to this date, his grandmom expired, and his family was in vain, and he missed his granny very much. He really doesn't know how he dared that particular day, but somehow expressed his feeling towards her, since he felt guilt and wanted to be transparent. She didn't react in a weird or shocking way, but just told that it is not wrong to have feeling on her. But she didn't have any answer to that. So obviously the guy will have some positive hope, and thought that one day he would win her. The greatest mistake a clarity-less girl and aimless boy would generally do. The first best memory Raghav had with Karen, she planned to visit the famous Shirdi temple in East Point Colony, and he wanted to accompany her. His plan is to take her on his so-called bike spirit and have a good time. His cousin, who is very close to both of them, also wanted to join them, and she invited him too. Raghav tried his best to get rid of him in all possible ways by pleading him, arguing with him, and finally requesting him. Somehow succeeded. Then he convinced Kieran that his cousin has some other work, and after a heavy discussion with her, finally achieved his goal. One has to really go through the experience of having their first love on a bike and having a good ride, and Raghav was no exception. He enjoyed every second of the atmosphere, and in the temple was constantly staring at her while she was sincerely praying to her favorite god. One of the devotees asked him to please look at the idol and not her. When the priest blessed her, he immediately followed her to take the blessing. He had unworn his jacket, and she carried that in her hands, and he was very pleased. They went to beach from there, and this guy was magnetized into her world with her talk, and company may be immature feelings at that age for anyone, but he was very sincere at his heart. After the Raghav's so-called confidence and positive attitude grew day by day in her matter and also in his studies, he set his targets and worked towards it. After achieving them, he immediately shared with her every minute's detail. She became his clock of the world in simple. His birthday arrived and she came to his house in the evening. She had his new attire worn, but he forgot to put his pants zip 60. She noticed at the first sight itself, but kept quiet. After a while, she couldn't resist and put that information out. I guess that is the most embarrassed moment for anyone, but to Raghav, the most cherished one. He ran after Karen to beat her. She ran around the whole house, escaping from him. His mom cherished seeing the wonderful moments too. Exams were over in May 2004, and Raghav failed in IIT entrance, but got a decent rank in AIEEE, through which he was all set for his engineering in Tanjore, Tien. For the first time, he felt that he is going to miss something very important and without which time would be challenging, and that is leaving Karen and going away from his beloved town for the first time in 18 years. Karen was good with decision of leaving the state and didn't show the same feel as he had. The guy whom she was interested in came back to Visage to pursue his engineering, and she got in terms with him again. The guy came back to know that Raghav is in love with Karen, and somehow was good enough to win her affection again, and decided to give a farewell to Raghav in his own way. All of the three of them met in the beach shore, and one of their common friends was also present. In front of that new person to him, they both started advising Raghav to shut down his feeling towards Karen and to be just a friend. Raghav for the first time felt very bad and was badly hurt to Karen's talk and approach in that situation. She could have told the same thing in private and not in front of some people through whom she was familiar, but not to Raghav. He couldn't digest the fact that Karen was so close to him throughout the year, also not committed. Suddenly started giving close-ended statements. Anyways, all of them were in their tender age, so none of them might be correct. But the fact is Raghav was hurt, and his tears had no answer. When we are doing a mistake, no one might correct us. But when we want to correct ourselves, everyone might point us.